Om. Om. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Pranams to the lotus feet of the Lord, pranams to all the Mahatmas and Gurujis, pranams to all of you. Shloka number 70. Kamadeva Kamapala Kami Kanta Kritagamaha Anirdeshya Vapurvishnuhu Viro Nanto Dhananjaya. In the last class, we saw this shloka, the meaning of these namas. I'll quickly go through it before we go to the shloka number 71. Kamadevaha, God of love. Kamapalaha, protector of desires. Kami, the one with all the desires fulfilled. Kantaha, one who attracts. Kritagamaha, the author of Vedas. Anirdeshya Vapuhu, whose form cannot be described. Vishnuhu, the all-pervasive. Viraha, one who moves very fast. Anantaha, limitless. Dhananjaya, the conqueror of wealth. Up to this we have seen in the last class. Now we go to shloka number 71. Brahmanyo Brahmakat Brahma 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 Vivardhanaha Brahma Vid Brahmano Brahmi Brahmagyo Brahmana Priyaha Brahmanyo Brahmakat Brahma 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 Vivardhanaha Brahma Vid Brahmano Brahmi Brahmanyo Brahmana Priyaha Brahmanyaha, the one to be known. So next few names are all connected to the word Brahma. The word Brahmanya means what is hita, good to the Brahma. The word Brahma has got several meanings such as tapas, Veda, Vipra, or Brahmana and Jnanam. And sometimes we call even for Brahmaji, we say for Brahma, but here Brahma refers to all these different meanings. The creator Brahmaji is also called Brahman. So all the four Vedas are called Brahman. One who studies and teaches the Veda, that is the Brahmana, is also called Brahman. The very subject matter that is to be known through the Veda is also Brahman. So not only that he is in the form of all these, but he blesses Brahmaji at the time of creation, blesses the Veda by validating it and protecting it from the loss, blesses the Vipras who study the Vedas, and blesses the very knowledge by being the subject matter, and is therefore Brahmanya. Brahmanya, only the one to be known. That is what in Gita we call it as a Nyayam, the one to be known. That's called Brahmanya. Then Brahmakrit, the author of Vedas. The Ishvara is the Brahmakrit, the author of Vedas, because he is the Brahmakrit, creator of Brahmaji also. So, and he gave the Vedas also. So you can put it in both the ways. You can take it as a author of Vedas and also the creator of Brahmaji, Brahmakrit. Then Brahma, the creator. Again, he alone is in the form of Brahmaji, the creator, and creates everything. So that is another one. Then Brahma. So we have to be very clear. Brahma, that is the previous one, 663. 664, Brahma, the truth of everything. The truth of everything. That which is big and also grows into something big is Brahman. It is Brahman alone that as though expands into this manifest world. How big is this Brahman? The Shruti says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad quotation. Brahman is of the nature of existence, knowledge, and limitlessness. The Vishnu Purana says, Now, that is known as Brahman, which is knowledge free from differences like the knower, known, and knowledge. And that is otherwise Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda, Rahitaha, which is the pure existence beyond the reach of words and understood as oneself. There's a beautiful thing which is coming in the Vishnu Purana. I gave the meaning. The shloka goes like this. Na pratyastha midabedam pratyastha midabedam yat satta matra agocharam vachasa matma samvedam tadjnanam brahma sangitam. Brahma Lakshanam beautifully given in the Vishnu Purana. I repeat it. Na pratyastha midabedam yat satta matra agocharam vachasa matma samvedam tajnanam brahma samhitam. Again, I repeat the meaning, literal meaning of this particular shloka, which I referred from Vishnu Purana. That is known as Brahman, which is knowledge, free of all differences, like the known, knower, and knowledge, the Triputi we call it, and Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, and which is beyond all the differences, which is pure existence beyond the reach of words and understood as oneself. This is the Brahman. So Bhagavan is the Brahma. So Bhagavan is the otherwise in the Bhakti language we call it as a God. In the Vedanti language we call it as a Brahman. Both are one and the same. In the Gita we call it as a Paraprakriti. In the 7th chapter language, Paraprakriti, ultimate one. And then that is what is called, which is to be known, Nyayam, that is given in the 13th chapter. Otherwise, Purushottama, another word given in the Gita, Purushottama. So there are so many names for Brahman. So because that is the ultimate Brahman, that's what it is. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, that Brahman we are referring to. Not the Brahmaji, here it is the Brahman. And that's what Aham Brahmasmi, that Brahman. Okay, that's what it is. Then Brahma Vivardhanaha. Brahma Vivardhanaha means one who makes the Vedas and such others grow. Bhagavan is the Brahma Vivardhana because his grace makes the knowledge of Veda grow. Similarly, he makes the tapas and also the Brahmanas grow. So that is a Brahma Vivardhana. Then Brahmavit. Brahmavit means one who knows the Veda. Not only does he know Brahma, that is the Vedas and their meaning, but he alone is in the form of Brahmavits, then those who knows the Vedas. And again, Brahmavit, the one who knows himself as Brahman, is Brahman alone. Now, Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati comes in the Mundakopanishad. The Brahmattai Arindavan Brahmanahave Ahividihiran. Now, Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The others are also Brahman only. Only thing is they do not know. They think they are body mind complex. That is the problem. Whereas the person who knows Brahman, understand really is actually he understand he is the Brahman only. That knower of Brahman is Brahman himself. You cannot know Brahman without being a Brahman because Brahman is yourself. Therefore, Brahmavit is Parameshwara or Parameshwara is in the form of Brahmavit. Then Brahmana. Brahmana means the one in the form of Brahmana. A Brahmana is the one who has studied the Vedas and teaches the Vedas. He plays a great role in handing down the Vedas given out by the Lord, both by teaching and by living a life centered on Brahma, which is Vedas. The real Brahmana is the one who has understood that all that here is nothing but Brahman alone. And I am that Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. And I am that Brahman. One who understands that is the ultimate meaning of a Brahmana. The I that is Ahankara is Mithya. The body mind complex is all Mithya. Apparent. Does not exist separate from Ishvara. So Parameshwara alone is that Brahmana. So you must be very, very clear. So you must understand this very clearly because always there is a confusion. I will dwell upon this particular Shabda a little bit. So Brahmana is one in the form of Brahmana. So now we are all talking about the Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhakashaha. Bhagavan says in the Gita in the 4th chapter, 13th shloka, I have created this Varna Ashrama, Varna, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And what is that he created? Because based on the personalities, it is, see, there are three ways you look at it. And this is very detailedly we have given it in the Gita. I will explain briefly here. We normally talk about this particular thing for 2 hours, but here I'll give you a brief description. One is based on the birth, whether I'm a Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya, all those things. Second thing is based on the profession, whether I'm a Brahmana profession or Kshatriya profession. Kshatriya profession, Brahmana profession, anybody who is in the teaching profession is a Brahmana profession. Anybody who is in the ruling profession is a Kshatriya profession. Anybody is a businessman is a Vaishya profession. Anybody who is supporting the three is called a Shudra profession. Shudra is not a bad word. First of all, you have to understand. Shokam draveti iti Shudra. One who removes the sufferings is called Shudra. People don't understand the meaning. They talk all kinds of nonsense. Nowadays, people start saying that the fourth one, because people are hesitant to tell the word Shudra. Because we have not studied properly. That's the problem. It is a very good word. In fact, there are scriptures which says the Shudra has got the right to question the other three if they don't behave and do their profession properly. That is, even though he is a person who is supporting the other three, he has got the right to question them. That is very clearly given in the Vedanta. So Shudra means Shokam Draveti iti Shudra. One who is remover of all the suffering is called Shudra. Understand this first. Because all our problem is all this caste system, which is not based, is not what we talk about in our scriptures. So one is by birth, second one is by the profession. The next one is actually is the finally the one is the based on the gunas, Brahmana guna, Kshatriya guna, Vaishya guna, Shudra guna. So gunas are what? Gunas are three: Sattvam, Rajas, Tamas. Sattvam means very predominantly a contemplative introvert mind. I'm briefly telling her. And Kshatriya means a mind which is Rajasic mind, extroverted mind, and looking for the welfare of everyone. Vaishya means a selfish, extroverted person who has got Rajas, with the Rajas followed by Tamas and then Sattva. So first Brahmana mind is the one, Brahmana guna is the one which is predominantly Sattva, followed by Rajas and then Tamas. So Sattvam is contemplative mind, Rajas is extroverted, active mind, Tamas is neither of them, a dull mind. Understand this. So Brahmana is a SRT, and Kshatriya is the RST. Rajas is predominantly for the welfare of the state. That is why when you say Kshatriya, the leader, prime minister or the president of the country should take care of the subjects very well. Has to be absolutely selfless, not to be a corrupt person making money for himself. That is not given there. That is not supposed to be. So so now you can understand whether our politicians can be called Kshatriya or not. You decide. So Kshatriya is the one who has got predominantly selfless Rajas, followed by Sattvam and then Tamas. And Vaishya is the one who has got predominantly Rajas, which is a selfish Rajas. He is a kind of a selfish Rajas, followed by Tamas and then Raja and then Sattva. So RTS. That means Vaishya is the one who is a businessman who makes the wealth. How is he supposed to make? He is supposed to make very ethically. Now, just because there's a food inflation now due to various global supply chain issues, you cannot hide all the product and try to release it in the market, make a killing. That is akramam. You are supposed to do ethical business. Now you can understand whether all our businessmen are ethical or not. You decide. Okay, and Shudra is the one who is predominantly Tamas, and then followed by Rajas and then Sattva, TRS, and who supports the other three. So what Shastra says is everybody has to, so leave the birth part, leave the profession part. Everybody has to become a Guna Brahmana. If you want to be closer to God, if you want to understand the Vedas, and then if you want to claim Aham Brahmasmi, and then get liberated, break the cycle of birth and death, everybody should become a Guna Brahmana. You may be by jati, you may be a Brahmana by birth, but your attitude may be a Vaishya, okay, but you are or Shudra even. But it doesn't mean so by birth you are not going to claim anything. Your profession may be a Brahmana as by profession, but the person is extremely selfish. I have seen many Brahmin Prohits who are only money minded, who do all kinds of shortcuts, Mahapapam. They are called Brahmana, they are given all the respect by the society, but they cheat. So that is also Mahapapa. So you can be anything either by profession or by birth. But if you want to liberate, you have to become, by guna, you have to become a Brahmana. This is not only for people living in India or for Hindus. This is the classification. These four things based on the personalities across the world is there. So it is not the Hindu scriptures promote, it is already there. You go to any organization, there will be some people who are highly contemplative, they go to R&D. There are some people who are extremely leadership quality, they become the business leaders, they become the CEOs. There are some people who are very smart, who can go and sell the product very well, they become salesmen. There are very many people who are very good operators and workers, they do the job and produce things. So every organization has got these four gunas. Every society has got these four mix of personalities. And what Shastra says is, if you want to get liberated, Shastra is never compelling anyone to study Vishnu Sahasranamam or Vedanta or any scriptures, Bhagavad Gita for that matter. Veda says only, I have got the menu. If you want to break the cycle of samsara, you come, study, and then get yourself liberated. So for which it says, why don't you? I am offering the help, and there is a user manual available called Vedas. So for that, people have to become a Guna Brahmana. Guna Brahmana. So people have to, so what ultimate meaning of Brahmana means? One who becomes a Guna Brahmana and then study the scriptures, understood not only Aham Brahman, the entire universe is Brahman. Because as per our Shastra, the ultimate pinnacle of Vedanta is what? Brahma Satyam. That is the only thing Vastu which is there. Jagan Mithya. The transactional world is for the transaction purpose appears there. In reality, it is not there. It's that Mithya word is experientially it is there, but factually not true. It is like a blue sky, blue ocean, like this, mirage water. So like this. So the whole world is Mithya and Brahman alone is Satyam. That means that is what is there, was there, is there, will be there. Everything Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagate. That's what Krishna says, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, all those things in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gandavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. All those things Krishna says in the Gita. So a Brahmana is the one who is really a person, Brahmattai Arindavan Brahmanan. Now you understood. So here Bhagavan says, I am Brahmana. I am one in the form of Brahmana. That is why the people who are understood, who have got those knowledge, what we are in our tradition, any Akarop Samyar, anybody who comes, they are all Guna Brahmanas anyhow, and we assume they are all really jnanis, and we don't question them, because whether I have got a jnanam or not, nobody can question. Only I must know. So we actually prostrate and then welcome them. We don't question anybody. Whereas for others who are grihasthas and others, we have to answer. We don't compare others. We have to understand that I have to be in this path. I have to be a Guna Brahmana. So anybody who is interested in liberation should study the scriptures regularly, understand. Unless you are a prodigy like Ramana Maharishi or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, that is the exception. We are not like that. At least I am not like that. So you have to study and then take the guide. That's why Gita says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. So get the jnana, you get the guru and go and prostrate and then he will guide you. So systematic study is very important. Then what happened? You can claim as Bhagavan says, I am Brahmana, and you're also Brahmana means what? Brahmatya. So Tatritvam Asi equation gets solved. That's what it is. Move on. Next one, 668. Brahmi. Brahmi means the possessors of Brahma. All that is indicated by the word Brahma, such as the Vedas, tapas, and knowledge, belong only to him. Hence, he is the Brahmi. Then Brahmagya. Then Brahmagya, the knower of Brahman. Bhagavan is the Brahmagya. He knows Brahma, the entire Vedas, both the Karmakanda and Jnanakanda, which is not separate from him, because he is the author of the Vedas. And at the beginning of the creation itself, he knows all the Vedas which had resolved into him at the time of Pralaya. You have to understand this concept a little bit. What is happening is the entire universe is in unmanifest conditions and then it manifests. There is no creation, is not a linear process. It is a circular process, cyclic process. We explain all those things in a systematic way when you come to our Vedantic classes. But here I'll tell you this much. So in a cyclic process, what happens? Everything goes into unmanifest conditions. Again, it gets manifest again. And when this manifests again, that is called, we call it as a srishti, which is a misnomer. Actually, from avyaktam, unmanifest, it comes to vyaktam. But we use the word srishti. The moment srishti comes, along with the srishti, Vedas come. Vedas are there. Again, everything goes into potential form, including Vedas. When the srishti comes from pralayam, when the srishti comes, Vedas come. And Vedas, where are they? They are in the form of sounds. In the Akasha, there is a sound. And how the Vedas are coming to the human availability? By the rishis. By the rishis who have got the purest mind, they are able to decipher those sounds, and which is the Vedas are in the form of sound, and they are able to decipher it and then bring it, and then they put it back by words, in the form of words. So it is like a sending station which is sending the transmission, like a broadcasting of a TV antenna, TV. Then from there it is in all the rays, all the waves are in the Akasha. Then what happened? You have got a receiving antenna. Where you put it, you have got a dish. Okay, then you receive it, you are able to see it. Similarly, the rishis, that's why they are called seers. The English rishi seers. Now, so those people, they attract it, they understand it, and then they give it to the world. So Vedas always exist. So Vedas always exist, and the person who knows, who understand the Veda, who understand Brahman, is called Brahmavit. The word Brahmavit can mean a person who knows just a part of the Veda, or one who knows the Brahman alone. But Brahmagya means one who knows all the Vedas and their meaning. Because nobody can know the entire Veda and all its meaning, everything. It is so big a subject. Veda is there, 4 Vedas, and then the 6 Angas, then Idihasam, Puranam, so many things are there to understand. Nobody can ever grasp the entire things. So the one who is Brahmana, Brahmagya means the knower of Brahman. That means he is the one who knows, has got a complete knowledge. Why? Because Bhagavan only is the author. Bhagavan only is the Brahman, and he is only the author who gives the Vedas. So he is the author, he knows everything. Then the Brahmana Priya, one who loves those committed to the Veda. Very, very important Nama. Brahmana Priya. Whoever loves Bhagavan, to whoever Bhagavan is Priya, clear, that person is committed to the Vedas that have come from Bhagavan. So they are the Brahmanas, learning and teaching the Vedas and living a life, Vedic life committed to the Dharma. They hold the Veda and Dharma dear to them, because both of these are nothing but Bhagavan. What? Veda and Dharma are nothing but Bhagavan. Thus, the Brahmanas play a great part in keeping the Vedas alive, therefore, are Priya. They are very dear to the Lord. Thus, Bhagavan is Brahmana Priya, being dear to the Brahmanas and also having them dear to him. I told you already I told you the Brahmanas are the one ultimate definition, the one who understand the Brahman and one who understand Brahman is himself and the entire world is nothing but Brahman is the ultimate Brahmana definition. While there are multiple definitions, this is the ultimate definition. That means one who is knows I am the Brahman, then he is the one. Bhagavan says he is dear to me because Bhagavan says he and I are no different. At the ultimate level, he and I are no different. So he is very dear to me. And it's in the seventh chapter of Gita, Bhagavan clearly spells it out. Udhara sarva evaite jnanitu atmaiva me matam astita sahiyuktatma mamevanuttamam gatim bahunam janmanamante jnanamanman prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlavaha. So he says, Jnani tu Atmaiva me matam. That Jnani is nothing but myself. And he is the dearest to me. And such people are very rare. What does it mean? Not everybody, even the so-called Hindus, I repeatedly say this. I have told it before also. I will repeatedly say again. The so-called Hindus who claim I'm a Hindu, who claim I'm a Brahmana, all those things, they don't study the scriptures. Scriptures can be studied by anyone for that matter. Any human being can study. And every human being can become a Brahmana and can liberate and break the life cycle. No other religion gives this theory. And it is all coming from the Lord. And so it is not just claiming that I am a Brahmana by birth, I am a Brahmana by profession has got no credibility. Anybody who is studying and become a Guna Brahmana is a Brahmana. And ultimately, one who study the scriptures, understand Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagate, then what emotionally is very, very calm and quiet, happy. He is got he is embodiment of peace, security, happiness, fulfillment, everything. Such a person is a Brahmana. So Bhagavan says, I am a Brahmana Priya. That means what? Every human being can become a Brahmana. Every human being can study scriptures, understand scriptures that I am Brahmasmi. Such a person alone is very dear to Bhagavan. All others are at the next level. Next levels are the ranking. They are all in the queue. So what is our program? By listening to this Nama, everybody should study Vedantic scriptures starting from Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu Sahasranamam is only a trigger for those who have not studied Vedanta. For those who studied our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, this is a great refresher and understanding Nama. You can chant it very well. It gives you involvement. And for those who have not studied, go and study where starting point is Bhagavad Gita. I am not saying every sadhu is every acharya says. Gita has got everything, one-stop shop. That's what it is. In Mahabharata says Devaki begot Sri Krishna from Vasudeva for the protection of from Vasudeva for the protection of the earthly Brahman. That is the Brahmana. That is the Brahmana. So how will you protect the Vedas? By protecting those scholars or Brahmanas who are learning Vedas, who are propagating Vedas, who are living by that principle, you have to protect them. If you protect them, the Vedic life will continue to be there. And if you look at the Indian history, so much of invasion happened. So many other civilizations have gone. And Indian civilization survived for what? Because Bhagavan's blessing. Because Bhagavan's blessing is there. Because Veda is the essential manual for the human living. That is what we call it as a Sanatana Dharma. There is nothing called religion in our language. Those names are introduced or introduced by the others, not by us. We don't have religion. We say it's only the Sanatana Dharma, the way of life, which is Vedic way of life. So Vedic way is the only way one should live, and that is available. And Bhagavan, and in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkutam. Dharma samsthapanataya sambhavami yuge. So Paritranaya sadhunam. The sadhu refers to Brahmanaha, Guna Brahmana. So not the Jadi Brahmana, not the Karma Brahmana, Guna Brahmana. So everybody will be protected, and this Vedic tradition will continue for eternity. We are all worried about the cultural onslaught by other invasions and Western influences in our current generation in India, where many of our people are losing our cultural identity and the way we have to practice the religion. Many parents are worried. Don't worry about them. The suggestion is don't worry about them. You worry about yourself. You study the scriptures. They will worry about themselves. Your job is to, having brought them in this world, your children, you give them the right education and value system and teach them dharmic way of life, ethical living. How do you teach? You live by ethics. If you don't have ethics, there's no question of studying these Vedas and all those things. Vishnu Sahasranamam has got no meaning. Or donating crores and crores of rupees to them. Tirupati Balaji has got no meaning if you are not having an ethical life. So have that is called dharmic life. So how we do it? Our job is to lead a dharmic life, study the scriptures regularly, and then get the moksha. Get moksha means liberation, breaking the cycle of birth and death, and here itself live in a calm way. Our children, what they do, how they do is their choice, and how they embrace their choice. You don't worry about the world, whether our culture will survive. That is the job of Lord Krishna. God will take care. Our job is to what? We study and we propagate. Our job is what? We study, and propagation cannot be done by everyone. There are only some people who have got the ability to go and speak, go and address the people, and then continue to run the classes. Many acharyas are there. So they will do a propagation. What others should do? You just study and follow a dharmic living and live happily. That is called Jivan Mukti. So this is Brahmana Priya, beautiful Nama. Then go to the. So in that, one more thing. In the Shankara quotes, I missed it. Shankara quotes this verse in his introductory Bhashya. But for Brahmana definition, the Gita Bhashya he says. So that is says that if the Brahmanas are protected, Veda becomes protected. Brahmanastvasya Rakshano Rakshitaha Syad Vaidiko Dharmaha. This is the meaning. Brahmanastvasya Rakshano Rakshitaha Syad Vaidiko Dharmaha. That means if you are protecting the Brahmana, Veda gets protected. So it is given in the Bhashyam also of Acharya. Note down this much. Moving on to next Nama. Mahakramo Mahakarma Mahateja Mahoraha Mahakrutur Mahayajva Mahayajyo Mahahavihi Mahakramo Mahakarma Mahateja Mahoragaha Mahakrutur Mahayajva Mahayajyo Mahahavihi. 72nd श्लोकम 72nd श्लोका. Mahakramaha, one with a wide step span. When a huge person walks, his steps will be definitely going to cover a bigger span than that of an ordinary person. Because if you're a 6-footer, you can walk longer. You can walk less steps, you will reach, because your stride is very high, span is very high. But when Lord Vishnu, who is all pervasive, walks, what is the span of his step? There is no place which is not covered by his step. Therefore, he is Mahakrama, the one with a huge step span. He is everything. He is not located in one place. Nothing is away from Ishvara. So in the Shanti Pata of the 30 Upanishad, Urukramaha, we describe him as a Urukrama. So in Mahakramaha, it is given there. Shanno Mitra Shamvarnaha, Shanno Bhavatvaryama, Shanna Indro Brigaspadihi, Shanno Vishnu Urukramaha, Shanno Vishnuhu Urukramaha. That's the same thing. Then Mahakarma, the one of great actions. Bhagavan is Mahakarma because his actions of creation, sustenance, and resolution of the entire universe are Mahat, great. So the accomplishments of an action is centered on the doer and the subject. Every individual is self-conscious and has got doership. The sense of doership gives us the guilt of omissions and commissions, and the sense of enjoyership gives us only hurt. One of the sources of hurt may even be God, because we feel that even though we pray so much, our prayers are not answered. Thus, the individual who takes himself to be a karta and bhokta, that otherwise doer and enjoyer, has all kinds of hurt and guilt. But Bhagavan is free from guilt and hurt, because he has neither a sense of doership nor enjoyership. Hence, all his actions are mahat, free from any sense of guilt or hurt. That's why Bhagavan says, Namam karmani limpanti, name karma palesprika. Nothing, I'm not affected by anything, because I am the akarta abhokta. That's why Krishna repeatedly said to Bhagavan, you also can become like me, become a akarta abhokta. That is a central, one of the important emphasis which is given by Krishna in the teaching is, Arjuna, don't get attached to all these people, all these worldly events. You get detached, understand yourself to be the Brahman. Then you can also be very neutral and do what is to be done in a dharmic way. So once you understand you are a dharma, you are a Brahman, then still your body is there, your transaction is there, your prarabdha is there, you continue to interact in the world. You may be whatever it is. Need not be Akarro Swamiya to get this knowledge. You can be a Grihastha and get the knowledge. Once you have got the knowledge, then how do you transact? Transaction world, you are a dharmic person. Whereas when you are no, I am the Brahman. How do you transact? You are absolutely cool cat. Now, cool as a cucumber, they say, right? You are absolutely cool, not affected by anything, including their own body. Because as you grow old, the body gets slowly deteriorated. So that you cannot avoid it. So that's why Bhagavan says, what he's saying is, Janma Mritti Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. So it has to happen. So you don't have any choice over it. So Bhagavan is the one who knows it. So you have to become a Bhagavan. How do you do it? You also become understand I am the Brahman, then you know you are Akarta, Abhokta. So you can also do great actions in a limited way, in a way, but Bhagavan is the ultimate one who is a Mahakramaha, he can do anything. We have got a limited, as a Jiva, we have got a limited sphere of influence, but Bhagavan's influence is everywhere, because the entire universe is Bhagavan only. Then Maha Tejaha, the one of great effulgence and valor. So he is Mahateja, the one of great effulgence. It is by his light alone that the sun and other luminaries have come to possess light. Tejaha means brilliance, can be in terms of knowledge, okay, in terms of light, in terms of energy also. All this is true for Parameshwara. Yada dityagadam tejaha jagadbhasayate kilam yatchandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam. 15th chapter, he says. So he is the light of all lights, the source of all light, and it is because of his presence alone that the luminaries are luminaries and the senses are senses. We are also able to recognize the sources of light like the sun, moon, stars, and other lights, because of the consciousness that blesses the mind, and through it the eyes. That this Atma is consciousness, and it is not separate from Ishvara. He alone, in the form of sun, moon, stars, fire, and so on, Mom energizes, lights up the whole Jagat. So that's why he is called Mahatejaha. Or as Parameshwara, he has Mahat Tejas, expressing as Krurya, sternness, as sternness towards those who take to adharma, and shaurya, an ability to overcome them. Ultimately, dharma wins wherever it is. Dharma wins means, I repeatedly again, I come back to another favorite subject. Dharma means, if we as human beings, we fight ourselves and killing ourselves, like the way the Yadava clan died, as described in the Bhagavata, that's what is going to happen. The way things are proceeding in the worldly orders, it is giving a great concern. What happens is, everybody is doing hegemonic things, and everybody will fight. What happens is, ultimately, we will eliminate the human race from this earth. Earth will survive for another millions of years. Don't worry. The sun, stars, everything will be there. Because for going to the pralayam, there are lots of life, lots of years left. But what happens is we may not be there. We may not be available in this earth. What happens? Why? Because we fight with each other. We are doing to adharmic living. When the adharma increases, what happens? Ultimately, we as a human race, we will perish. All the animals and all other beings will be very happy. All the ocean reptile, all the ocean fishes, everything will be happy. All the animals, beings, everything will be happy because all the worms in the earth will be happy because we abuse everything. So the adharma, so if you want to lead more life in this earth, that's why Bhagavan says, Parasparam Bhavayantah, give and take. I have given everything. You guys try to live and let live. If you don't have the attitude, you will fight each other and vanish yourself. Bhagavan gave the corona as a sample. Still, people have not understood. We are fighting like anything. And so many people are suffering because of what? Food inflation today. Your food prices have gone up because Ukraine is the place where maximum amount of wheat is grown. And this is at war. Nobody can get supply. Every price has gone up. All the ocean trade is gone. Everything is good up. All the metal prices have gone. Everything has gone up. When the food prices are gone, many people go into poverty, empty stomach in the night. Why? Because we fight each other. It is such a sadness. In fact, this earth with the about 8 billion population can live comfortably. The poverty in the entire earth can be eradicated. If you all have the brotherhood, the sisterhood or brotherhood, the real care and understanding among the human beings and among the other things, we do not have the ocean, I mean, we not have a global warming, still we can manage ourselves. We have come up with long way in science in the last 300, 400 years. We have understood so much and we know clearly more that how to live intelligently, having a reasonable amount of comfort. But what happens is we are so avaricious, we continue to behave so selfishly. Unfortunate. Again, as I told you earlier, we don't need to worry. Bhagavan will worry about it. Bhagavan will not worry. Bhagavan will fix it. That's why that's why he said here he is expressing as a krurya, that means sternness, and the shaurya, his ability to overcome all of them. He will fix anybody and everybody. He will do it. So he will make it happen. Then Mahoragaha, one in the form of a serpent. The snake and other similar reptiles which have no legs move by the whole body, hence called Uraga. And he is the one who is in the form of all Uragas. The great Uraga is called Vasuki. Now Vasuki especially expresses his vibhuti. And Bhagavan himself he says in Gita, among the serpents, Sarpana Vasuki, I am the Vasuki. That's what he says in the Gita. And again, the snake is an expression of power. As limitless powers, he is a Manoraga. That's why Shiva, Lord Shiva, is having snake as his bhushana, as an ornament for what? Showing the power. What is Shiva meant for? Shiva meant for taking everybody from here. So he says when he is wearing that Naga Bhushanam and he is telling all of us to behave properly, otherwise he says, I have got my minister Yama, I will send him and you cannot do anything. And Yama says, I have got my own huge army because I cannot keep going everywhere. So I have got you Yama Ganas. So I will send dispatch all of them, unlimited troops. Unlike Ukraine or Russia, they have got limited troops. Yama has got infinite troops. He will send all of them. He will wipe out everybody if you don't behave properly. So then Mahakratuhu. Mahakratuhu, one who is a great sacrifice called Kratu. So the word Kratu means any Vedic ritual, Vedic fire ritual is called Kratu. Anything which is prescribed in the original Veda, Shruti, that Vedic rituals predominantly are fire-based rituals, predominantly. Of course, there are some non-fire-based, many of them are fire-based rituals. That is called Kratu. Those who are based on Smriti, Smriti means on the allied scriptures, not directly from the Vedas, from the allied scriptures, they are called Yajnaha. Yajnaha. So Kritu is the original. Yajna is based on the ancillary scriptures, the Smriti and other things. That's called Yajna. In Gita, Bhagavan says, Aham Kraturaham Yajna Swadaham Aushadam. You can see in the 9th chapter. So Kriti is the Vedic sacrifice, and there are various Vedic sacrifices are there. Ashwamedha is one of the biggest ones. Then Ashwamedha Yagya. So you have seen in the stories, Puranic stories, it talks about it. And so Bhagavan is in the form of all kinds of Kritus. So any Kritu is all Bhagavan. And Ashwamedha is supposed to be the biggest among all the yajnas. That is what in the Mahabharata they want to do the Ashwamedha Yaga. All those stories, you know that. Okay, that's what it is. Then Mahayajva. Next one is Mahayajva, the great sacrificer. I think time up. Okay. So I will stop here. Mahakrituhu. We'll go to 676th Nama, Mahayajva, in the next class. Because time is up, we'll continue in the next class. Hari Om. And I am traveling in between on businesses. Sometimes my classes are not there. When I'm able to do classes, even in spite of travel, I will continue to the classes. So notification will come in the WhatsApp or Telegram group. So stay tuned. We'll continue the classes. Don't worry. We'll continue complete the Sahasranama and take other scriptures also. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Magi Magishaha. Bhubrahmanebhyo Shvomas Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. We'll again meet next week. Hari Om.